Okay, a little update video of what I've been doing over the weekend. Basically, I've come a fair way on the engine now. It's pretty much complete. So I'm pretty much going to turn my attention to the interior now. Um, so this week it's all going to get re-dyed and stuff like that. So what I've done is I've spent an hour this afternoon just going over some safety issues, just to make sure that, you know, when I start driving this car, it's reliable. You know, nothing's going to fall off it. Everything's done properly. So I've gone over all the hose clamps, replaced a lot of them. Made sure all the electrical connections and things like that are all good. Made sure all brake lines and all that sort of thing is, you know, out of the way and not going to, you know, rub on anything. Made sure all the oil lines are far away as they can be from everything. I got underneath and made sure everything was okay. Retorqued all the suspension and stuff like that. Just basically rechecked everything. So I've still got a couple of little jobs under here that I've got to do, but you know, as a whole, it's pretty much done. And I guess another thing that I should mention as well is that the concept that I'm using for the car at the moment. I guess the best way to describe it, when I did the interior, I had a concept that I worked off for it, which was I wanted to win someone else with it, but I also wanted to be able to pull it out really quickly if I needed to, if I wanted to do something else with the car. So that's the concept that I always used for the interior. And it came out really good. I can do both things with it. I can race it if I wanted to, strip it out. And I can also have it in there if I go to a show or something like that. It's really easy to pull in and pull it out. So the concept with this engine at the moment is, with the rebuild of the whole car, really, is I want it to be like a modern car. I want everything cohesive. I want good pedal feel on the brakes. I want a good clutch feel. I want the accelerator to be really responsive to small movements. I want to, you know, really snappy off boost and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't want to, you know, even though the turbo is not really good for this engine, and I'm not going to change it now, you know, I'm just sort of working with what I've got. I'd rather a turbo that came on at 2000 RPM and had power all the way to 7.5. This turbo doesn't come on strong until about 4, which is a bit of a pain. So that's why I want a really good off boost. And yeah, I want the whole car as a whole driving like a brand new car. I want the brakes, you know, I want the brakes working like a Commodore. It's got Commodore brakes on it. You know, I want everything sort of spot on. I want it to be smooth and like my other cars. You know, you get in, they start, they go, you know, that's how I want this car. And it's proven pretty hard because, you know, I'm trying to do the whole show thing and stuff like that, you know, and trying to combine it all with like something that's, you know, practical as well. It's just really tough. I'll just show you like an example of, you know, a trade-off that I had to do is like this line here that goes over the distributor. And if you look down the back, it's hard to see, but down the back behind the block is where all the lines and that come through the firewall. I'd done a test that I was shown by a auto electrician that showed me where all the shorts were in my leads and in my whole electrical system, and there was heaps of them. So, you know, I've gone through and fixed all those up. Like I said before, all the hose clamps have either been replaced or just nipped up, tightened, checked. All the earths have been checked, make sure they're nice and clean, all tightened up. So yeah, really the engine's pretty much ready to go. One thing I did have a problem with was this oil bracket down there that's on the side of the block there. Some reason I couldn't get the filters to seal, and it's had an oil leak and it's been really driving me insane. Trying to fix it, couldn't do it, leaking, man, nightmare. So I'm going to throw that in the bin, and get rid of all the braided line and all that, and I'm just going to replace it with a Rodeo one, which our guys got, which has been really good. We're going to go and pick that up on Wednesday or Thursday. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way everything is now. When I drive the car, I know everything's going to be good and safe and stuff like that. Nothing's going to be rubbing through or just any crazy stuff. Like, I've heard of guys, you know, building cars and they get to the last little, you know, the last little thing, and they just starter motor shorts out, or some wiring starts rubbing somewhere or something like that, you know. So I don't want that to happen. This thing here, that's obviously just a temporary thing that I had on when I was driving the other day, just to check for the blow by and that. This hose is going to get changed to braided during this week. But yep, like I said, attention this week really mainly is on the interior. So yeah, I just wanted to do this little update just to say that, especially for the younger guys, that the safety issues should never go overlooked, sort of thing, you know. I think it's very important for any build when it's getting close to the finish to go over, double check your work, tighten everything up, make sure everything's right, make sure no wiring is going to touch anywhere, make sure no brake lines are going to touch anywhere, everything's secured nicely. You know, I'll just show you actually one thing while we're doing this video is that I probably wouldn't have picked up, is that when I first put the alternator in, you know, everything was all right and looked good, and I took it for a drive and came home, and I noticed that the alternator was wobbling and stuff like that, so we needed a shim in it. So these are little things that I've been fixing up over the last sort of yesterday and this afternoon. So they're all done, everything's good now, starts first go. So yeah, it's nearly ready for a dyno, and the next videos updates will be mostly about the interior. So yeah, keep an eye out.